All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. My name is Judson Powell. All right, I want to talk about Derek Chauvin and George Floyd for a minute. And so I posted something on my Facebook, and I know everybody is probably, I had one positive response, but you know how it is when you got when you put something up that don't nobody agree with, then it's kind of hard to get a response from anybody. But this is not a case, and I think I need to make sure that this is well known, but it's not a case of police brutality. And I think we've made it out to be more than what it is. And I think that that the whole thing took on a life of its own. It grew legs, it grew arms, it grew everything. And so, all of a sudden we made George Floyd the poster child of police brutality. But him and Chauvin knew each other. They worked together, and they worked together. And I really, and I don't have no proof to back it up or nothing like that. But I'm sure there's proof there if there was an investigation. And I think that probably they didn't try to investigate it because of the money involved. So I was upset that the fact that they awarded George Floyd's family $27 million even before the trial started. And so I think that's a clear indication that they're trying to get Derek Chauvin no time. And they reinstated lesser included murder charges, so he can be charged with 3rd or 4th degree murder, which probably will be met with time served in probation, or put it this way, very little time served, because I believe that they're in bed with the police union, because they got to look. Let me tell you something about government. They have to protect those police officers. No matter what anybody says, defund the police and all that was going around, but they're not going to defund the police because it's a racket. It's like anything else. It's a racket. It's a way that it's a way that the state, the county and cities make money. They make money off of that. They're issued large amounts of tax dollars and that kind of thing. But here's the thing. Those two knew each other. They knew each other prior to this incident. And I think that Derek Chauvin was trying to get back at George Floyd. And it had nothing to do with the fact that he was a police officer. I think he killed him. And I think it's a clear-cut case of 1st degree murder. It's premeditated and deliberate. And the way that they're going about it now, because, and let me put on my lawyer cap for a second. In a criminal case, and especially in the case of murder, you have to prove, not only do you have to prove that the act took place, but you have to prove the prerequisite mental state for that act. So in other words, it's not just enough to prove that it happened. You got to prove what was the perpetrator's mental state when they committed the act. So with that being said, I don't believe, and like I said, this is totally speculation on my part, but I don't believe that, that there is enough there. If you're going to go after the police brutality thing, there's not enough there to really prove that, because you have, the exigent circumstances and all of this kind of stuff. Well, I'll put it this way. If I was arguing the officer's case, the first thing that I would offer up is that, it was a whole bunch of stuff going on. He didn't, he lost track of time. He didn't realize what was going on. There's a whole bunch of, and of course everybody gonna say, well, that's bullshit. Yeah, it's bullshit, but guess what? But if those 12 people sitting in the box you know, it only takes one of them to have reasonable doubt, and he walks away. But if you approach this, if you approached it from the angle of, you know, of it was a love triangle or a disagreement over a woman or something like that, which is what I believe it really was, or the fact that, you know, that hey, that George Floyd was like a player, and maybe Derek Chauvin didn't really, you know, he was like, okay, well, you know, maybe he wanted to get him back because of that, which therefore, you know, once he saw him, that proves, you know, that, or that can prove his premeditation and his deliberation, because he saw this guy that he didn't like, and he was like, look, I can get him back. I don't really think that it had anything to do with him being a policeman. And see, so that's going to, you know, so like I said, that's going to confuse the jury. And then, like I said, they put these lesser included charges, this murder 3, murder 4, you know, he get murder 8 and whatever, that boils down to like, you know, like negligent manslaughter or something like that, that ain't even really a crime. I mean, it's a crime, but he's not going to experience that much time. And I think he's going to get off with a little bit of time, and then he's going to disappear. Because see, they got to, you know, everybody can say what they want. And like I said, you know, when everybody is hot-headed and nobody's really thinking, and everybody just wants justice, and everybody's like, justice, justice, justice. And, you know, and they want something done about everything. And I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I 100% get it. I'm not saying I don't get this. I really do. I really, really, really do. Because I've been harassed by the police. You know, maybe not to the extent that George, you know, because I'm not dead, but I know what it is to be harassed by the police. I know what it's like to be pulled over when you haven't done anything. Or arrested. You know, I got arrested one time for being in my own car. I won't tell the jurisdiction. I won't tell the jurisdiction that, but they arrested me for being in my own car because they didn't believe, you know, that I had the money or the wherewithal to have, you know, the kind of car I did. They wanted to know, well, how does he get that kind of car? You know, how is he rolling like that? And a lot of times that's you know, that's the only reason why they pull you over. They don't have no reason, you know. And then, you know, like I said, but I just don't think that this rises to that level where it's like he did it because he was being a bad or a rogue cop. I think he was doing it because these people, you know, he had a past with George Floyd, and he wanted to get him back. I think it was a revenge killing. I think it was jealousy and revenge and envy and all of that. You know, that's what I think. That's what I think really entered into, you know, the officer's mind. Because when you really think about it, and it wasn't anything. The thing about it is too, it wasn't anything. It was a counterfeit, you know, allegedly a counterfeit $20 bill. Well, there's no, you know, nobody's life is worth $20. Come on, I mean, let's be real. You don't have to step on somebody's neck for 8 or 9 minutes over a $20 bill, over a fake $20 bill. And George Floyd, you know, posed no bodily threat to him, or in fact, there were so many police around, he didn't really even pose a flight risk. And even if he would have ran, so what? You know, it's just like nowadays, like they don't even, like when it comes down to high-speed chases, unless the person is like a murderer or a rapist or has done some type of bodily harm to somebody else, even when, even when there's something like that going on, they'll call off a high-speed pursuit. They'll call it off because why? Because they don't want to, threaten the rest of the public with being involved in that kind of thing. So I got like some fundamental problems with what's going on. because I'm like, this don't even seem like it is. And don't get me wrong, all of the times that police officers have gotten away with brutality, you know, that's why everybody is so mad and so upset, because we think about, well, all of the times that they've gotten away with harming people, killing people, you know, Breonna Taylor, you know, that's the most, you know, to me, when it comes down to police brutality, that's the better case, that they should have put that man on trial. Because that is police brutality. I mean, you know, and it's, I mean, when you think about it, you know, think about all of these different, you know, all these different incidents and stuff like that. And, you know, it just, there's a lot of things that in this case that don't add up to what a lot of the other cases, you know, added up to. It just is. So why, you know, to me, that the whole thing about you know, the personal relationship that they had should have been investigated and explored, and should have been used, because if you want that cop to go to jail, he would have went to jail for sure if he would have charged him with first-degree murder. I mean, for real, he would have gone to jail for sure. I mean, for real, because there's no other excuse for it, and to be up there and say, well, he is, you know, he's at the point where, you know, where he was doing that to everybody he was running across who was black, or to look at it as being racially motivated, and it could have been racially motivated. In fact, it's probably more of a hate crime. And maybe charge, you know, maybe you should have charged him with first-degree murder and charged him under hate crimes, federal hate crime statute. You know, I just think, you know, and I think that the $27 million that they got before the trial started, I think that's going to affect the outcome of the trial. Because people look at that as like, well, they already got theirs, so why should we be, you know, why should we be concerned that you know, they already got justice? And they did that, as, you know, they've done that in other cases too. And it's like, look, you could try the civil case later, but first try, you know, try the criminal case, so that you have something concrete that you can go in, because it's easy to win a civil case after you've won a criminal case, especially if they're found guilty, because they're already liable, they're already culpable. You know what's going to happen. And in there, well, you know, and in these cases, you knew that they were going to give George Floyd's family some money, you know, just because of, like I said, the sensationalism and the outcry about it. So, but anyway, that's my little 2 cent, my little lawyer cap. Let me take my lawyer cap off and put my put my spirituality cap on. Look, y'all, I've got to keep saying this. Listen to the elders and the ancestors. Stop trying to make stuff up. There's nothing new under the sun. Basically, listen to the elders and the ancestors. And now I'm getting people to start asking me, like, you know, oh yeah, you know, I saw this person in my dream. I saw this person, you know, I saw this person in a vision. I saw this person. Yeah, you did, didn't you? So that's all I'm trying to say. Look, keep it, you know, keep it tight. Don't let all this newfangled, you know, stuff get to you, because there were people on this earth a long time, you know, a long time before you were ever here. All right. So anyway, that's it. That's the fastest, how many minutes? That's the fastest 14 minutes and 35 seconds. I know it's not funny, but sometimes I tickle myself. My wife gets so pissed, right? Anyway, I love y'all. Please hit the like button. Hey, please hit the subscribe button. And, you know, leave me a note if you got something to say. I would very much appreciate it. I love y'all all here. hit the love button.